But long story short, bro, listen. When it comes to situations like this, I'm biased. I like every race. You know what I'm saying? I like whoever like me. I don't pick and choose sides. But this shit right here wasn't right. And us being grown people, we know that shit wasn't right. I'm all about accountability. At the end of the day, it just shows you that you can be a young black man that mind your business and living correctly, parents doing good in life, minding your ain't no trouble child, going to school, not a thug, not a gangster, not even a bad child. You just guilty just by your skin color. Now,
He's right. Karmelo, for all intents and purposes, Karmelo Anthony is a good kid, no criminal record, good grades, college bound. We get that. We understand that. And that's what makes this even more tragic. This is not one of these YNs out here flocking and gang banging and drug dealing and stealing and killing. This is not what we talk about. And that's what makes this more of a tragedy. But you know what? When they see Karmelo Anthony, they don't see that. What they see is one of these YNs, because they see the YN and they see Karmelo Anthony and they see the skin color, they see the age. And this is the issue that we have as black people. Unfortunately, as black people, they put us all in the same category. They see a young black man, they don't see him college bound. They don't see a young professional, they see a thug. Now, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I know, the media, right? It's the media's fault. I get it. It's the media's fault. Do we play any part in that at all? Do we propagate those negative stereotypes in the black community? Huh? What music do we listen to? Huh? What styles do we promote? I'm just saying. I mean, you know, are we propping up the engineers and the mathematicians in the black community? Is that what we propping up? Shout out to Myra May. Are we? Are we popping up the YNs and the thugs? We need to ask ourselves like that. Who speaks for us? Who's out there with the microphone speaking on behalf of black people? Somebody type baddies in the chat room. Somebody type baddies in the chat room. I'm just saying. Somebody type YNs in the chat room because they seem to be the most vocal. When people think of black culture, it is synonymous with ghetto behavior, isn't it? So when you have a good kid who unfortunately was involved in a horrible incident like Karmelo Anthony, and when I say good kid, I'm talking about before this conviction, this boy's record was spotless. He get lumped in with the thugs. So when the jury see him, guess what they see? They see a YN. They don't see Karmelo Anthony, the scholar, the football player. They see a YN. And it's the same thing for me. And if you got a black child, it's the same thing for your black child too. And it goes same for the women. It's the truth. I don't care if you all don't like what I have to say. You're going to hear it. Don't come over here if you don't like to hear the truth. We're going to speak the truth over here. If you want somebody to say, oh, man, I'm not that guy. I don't care enough about your feelings to try to make you feel good. I don't. You're going to get this work. Somebody type that work in the chat room. You're listening, aren't you? Are you listening? You're finally listening to Uncle D. Because see, about 5 or 6 years ago, I said, hey, we have a degenerate culture and it's going to start affecting all of our reputations. Remember I said that? Remember I used to talk about that? Remember I used to say, ladies, you probably need to, talk to your children since you all are the mothers and, y'all mostly raise the children. We got to chill out on this degenerate behavior. Y'all told me a lot of stuff. Y'all told me I was anti-black woman and everything. That's what y'all told me. I said, well, let me just be an advocate for black men. Remember I said that? Y'all say I was anti-black. Remember y'all reported me to the FBI and then I threatened to sue the FBI and made the FBI back down? Y'all remember that? Huh? Y'all remember that lady said that crazy stuff about me on that website and then I had her website taken down? Y'all remember how many people I sued messing with me, got their channels dismissed, called their probation officers? Yes, y'all fight back. Uncle D fight dirty. Somebody type fight dirty in the chat room. Yeah, this is what I've had to go through trying to explain to y'all that this is the eventual outcome if we don't get hold of our reputation. Little black boys are going to get shot in the back, running away from a situation that they ain't do nothing wrong. Little black boys are going to get put in jail even if they defending themselves. This is what's going to happen. This is what I told y'all. Y'all didn't like that. And so now, my question, are you ready to live? Because you can't run from it. It's still here. I'm still here. Okay? Are y'all ready to listen? Let's listen. Somebody type listening. Let's listen. Y'all ready to listen to old Uncle D while I'm still willing to talk to y'all? I could be in my backyard enjoying my garden, but I'm not. Now, with all that said, we started off, Karmelo Anthony's been found guilty. And we talked about why the jury rejected the self-defense. And we talked about the legal stuff. But now we got to talk about the historical stuff. Are y'all ready to learn something? Huh? Because see, let me say this. Okay, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. All right. I know, because y'all like, Uncle D, you sold out. I know. I get it. You not defending, I'm not pro-black. Uncle D is not pro-black. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to make you feel good. I'm never going to make you feel good. But I'm going to tell the truth. And to all you right-leaning black people, I'm not with you either. Okay? I'm not one of those racism doesn't exist people. I'm not that guy. Not at all. Okay? Because see, I know this. If the roles were reversed and you had a 6'1", 210 black man who tried to jack up a little small white boy sitting on a bench in a rainstorm under a little tent, right? And the white kid jumped up and stabbed him in the chest, okay? Right? After the black kid pushed him like a linebacker, guess what? Society would have seen that as justified. Yes, it would. They would have said, well, where was he supposed to go? And he was just sitting there minding his business, and the big black kid came over and put hands on him. He was defending himself against some bigger, a big black person. That would have been, and the underlying sentiment would have been, you know how those people are. They would have said the black kid was what? Chimping out, being aggressive, acting like a threat. Then they would have said, usual suspects. The little white boy would have had if Karmelo Anthony's real name was Carl Smith, he have $1 million GoFundMe right now for his defense. He wouldn't even went to jail. He'd have enough money to get a damn master's degree at Harvard by now and invest in ChatGPT, which is about to go public. See, what I'm saying is, either way, the court of public opinion would have justified this little white boy stabbing a 210-pound black kid for picking on him. That's true. I'm telling the truth. And that's where the historical racism comes into place. Because when the person defending himself is white, people understand fear. They understand size difference. They understand being cornered. They understand being picked on and pushed and physically handled by someone bigger. But when the person defending himself is black, suddenly everybody wants to slow the facts down. Hold on. They want to sanitize the physical contact and act like the black kid was supposed to just take it. You see? You understand? See, black people aren't treated like we have the same right to defend ourselves. And I'm not just talking about physical self-defense. I'm talking about defending our dignity, our humanity, our families, our communities, and our right to exist without being degraded. That's why people love to say the N-word. They want to say the N-word, right? And what do they say right after that if you say something about it? Huh? They say it's just a word. They say it's just a word because they want the freedom to insult black people without consequences. They want to use the word degrading racial, this insult, this racial insult, one of the worst words in American history, and then they want to control how black people respond to it. They want to provoke black people, humiliate black people, and drag black people back into the language of slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, segregation, and racial terror. But the moment black people react The reaction becomes the problem. And that's the double standard.